Good afternoon or morning, or I always say good afternoon or good morning, like I know what time you guys are watching this. It's good afternoon for me. It is daylight savings Sunday. It's November 5th, 1:33 p.m. So with or without daylight savings, it's afternoon for me. Figured I'd just get on here and just start talking, because I've been wanting to do some podcasting, do a little bit of just talking about certain things, and I'll be honest, I don't know where this video is going to go. I'm going to go meet a buddy of mine at the lake, Okeechobee, in about 40 minutes. 45, I got to stop and get gas probably. I'm actually running on fumes right now. But figured I'd get on here, start talking. If it becomes like a multi-subject deal, make it a podcast. If it becomes a singular subject deal, I'll make it a singular subject video. I don't know where this is going. I'm literally flying off the cuff right now. But just to let you guys know where I'm at with everything, it's already feeling like a podcast. It really is. So yesterday for me, probably not be yesterday for you, whatever, was it the fourth qualifier? I think so. Q4, the Roland Martin Marine Series Center Team Trail. Me and Nick fished. The weather was bad, and I did make a Facebook post. I might pop it like right here. Made a Facebook post saying, everyone quit whining, show up and fish. It's gonna be windy. We've all been on the lake when it's windy. We all know what to do. We have canals to run. We have boats that can handle it. Just go slow, be smart, be safe, whatever. I didn't say it like that. I said, quit your whining, fish. But I'll be honest, me and Nick thought we had a spot or an area that we could kind of get out of the wind a little bit and do good, and just didn't work out that way. You know, I thought with the full moon that we got last week, that some fish would pull up. Didn't. I mean, there's guys who caught them yesterday. Congratulations to Don and Matt DeMont. I actually had dinner with them on Friday night. They ended up killing it. They won 24 pounds. About what we all thought it would take, 24 pounds. We even asked Don, like, what do you think it's going to take? He's like, I think 24. We're like, yeah, we're thinking 24 too. Well, Don's the one who actually caught it, so it is what it is. So me and Nick ended up with like a whopping 8 pounds. 8 pounds. So threw him back. Nick's jack plate got stuck up all the way up, so we could only run like 40 miles an hour. So at about 250, we're like, we have 8 pounds, and jack plate stuck up. We text Raymond, we're like, listen, we're not gonna make the weigh-in. We'll drop the buoy, the little boat number thing off, but we're not gonna make the weigh-in. So yeah, we didn't make the weigh-in on purpose. We did not catch them, not on purpose. That's definitely not on purpose. We ran a bunch of stuff that had potential, stuff that could bail us out, everything. Stuff for a big bite. None of it worked out, which is okay, because we didn't pay an entry fee, because we won Team of the Year last year, and the tournament was free. You know, free is a relative term, but so spending $225 or whatever it is on entry fee and hotel and all that, it is what it is. We didn't care. We're like, all right, it is what it is. But yeah, so I got about a month. Me and Nick got about a month to pre-fish for the Rolands Classic, which is a big deal, and it becomes a bigger and bigger deal every single year, because Raymond is doing a great job of boosting the payouts. I don't know how, but payouts keep going up and up and up and up for the Classic. The qualifiers stay about the same. I think it's about $5,000 to $6,000 first place based on how many boats, but they withhold some of that money, put it towards the Classic, and I don't know what else Raymond's doing over there, but he's getting a lot of money thrown into that Rolands Classic. So that's the nugget. That's the nugget at the end of the tunnel that we're all shooting for. So I think I don't know for a fact, but I think Cale Stevens and Brad McQueen won Team of the Year for Rolands, which is pretty cool. I mean, me and Nick won that last year. We had a second, third, and fourth place finish. The one was canceled, so it was only based on those 3 tournaments. Brad and Cale did great this year. Congrats to them dudes. But yeah, got about a month to pre-fish for Rolands. That's why I'm going back to the lake. If you're wondering where I'm coming from, funny story, my day 1 co-angler from Lake Eufaula, the regional, Mike Barton, I'll shout him out here. He hit me up in the middle of last week on like Wednesday, and I missed his call I think on Tuesday, and then he called me back on Wednesday. I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot. I pick up the phone, start talking to him. Hey man, hope you're doing good, blah blah blah, let's go fishing up in Nashville, see you soon, whatever. And then he goes, hey, how far are you from Port Charlotte? I'm like, 3.5 hours. Like, you know, it's a drive, but he goes, well, this Saturday there's a concert, and I know a guy, and I can get you in. I can get you tickets. I'm like, all right, yeah, why not? And then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I have Rolands Saturday, and once I'm done with Rolands, it's an 1.5-hour shot. I can be there. And I went. He had a couple local bands to open it up. I also have no idea who they were. I was walking around eating food, getting some beverages. And then they had Arron Tippin. I think he came on about 8 o'clock. And that dude was one of the best performers on stage that I've ever seen in a country concert, whatever. I mean, he was awesome, sang great, super crowd, like he's there to please the crowd, which is what you should do as a performer, you know, giving everyone high fives. If people were throwing the big beach ball around, he would spike it into the crowd, and people would hand him his phone. He'd be like doing funny faces and hand them back their phone. It was an awesome concert. And then right after him was actually Riley Green, one of my favorite country artists, and it was awesome to see him in concert. So all in all, it was a good Saturday. I'm not complaining. I stayed in a microtel, which is whatever. Tried to get me out of the room an hour early this morning because of the daylight savings. I don't think they realized it was daylight savings. They're banging on my door at 10 o'clock, like, you gotta get out. I'm like, it's 10 o'clock. My checkout ain't until 11, so I ain't going nowhere. But anyways, no, it was a freaking great concert. I loved it. It made me miss or realize how much I miss country music concerts. Because listen, and there's a couple things I live for. Bass fishing is number one. Tournament bass fishing is numero uno. Okay, and country music is not a close second. It's second. I do love country music, but I love bass fishing a lot more. And I got to do 2 of my favorite things in the same day. So it was a great, awesome day. So thank you, Mike. Thank you, Stevie Ray, for getting me the tickets. That was badass. Loved it. So yeah, I was over there. I woke up, had lunch at one of my favorite places, Cracker Barrel. Drank an ungodly amount of sweet tea. I'm probably gonna regret that later. And now I'm headed to the lake. I don't have my boat with me, obviously. Like I said, I'm gonna go meet up a buddy of mine, hop in his boat for a little bit. And I mean, I'm not gonna get there till 2:30. I'm 30 minutes away right now, and whatever. I'm just gonna go out there and just fish. I mean, I got nothing else to do today. I could go home and work on videos though. I could do that, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm going fishing because it gets I don't even know. Stand by. I don't even know what time sunset is now. Was it like 6:15? 5 5:40 p.m. sunset. I have 3 hours to fish. Better than no hours to fish. That's it. So everyone complains about daylight savings, and from certain aspects, yes, it does suck. It does get dark earlier. It is what it is. But I will say the good thing about that is most of the tournaments still go until 3 o'clock. So we're gaining an hour to fish in the morning at the beginning of daylight savings. When that clock ticks back an hour, we're gaining an hour to fish. Which, listen, I want to be out there as long as possible. There's 20 hours of daylight, I'll be out there 20 hours. But it's a good thing, I feel like, for the tournaments. You do have to wake up earlier, but it gets dark earlier. So once the sun goes down, you get all your stuff done, you're like, wow, it's 8 o'clock, it's 8:30. All my stuff, my tackle's done. I've ate dinner, I've taken a shower, I'm gonna, like, you go to bed earlier. It all evens out at the end. I feel like it makes for more productive time during tournament fishing. As far as work and getting off work early and trying to go fishing, yeah, that sucks. That's where handcuffs you. When I was younger and I could get off work early, throw the john boat in the back, run to the local lake, it sucks. There literally wouldn't be enough time in the day to do it. So, yeah, it is what it is. But
in half a mile, turn left onto Florida 29 North.
Getting close. Forgot where I was going with this. Lost my train of thought. That happens. So yeah, days are shorter. I'm gonna have 3 hours to fish. It's not bad.
Turn left onto Florida 29
better
North.
Than 0 hours to fish. So yeah, Rolands Classic is pretty much the only tournament that I have left for the rest of the year that I can put any kind of thought or preparation into. You know, lately I've kind of been on this deal of practice is overrated. Practice is overrated. But on the same token, you have to utilize what practice you do have, or what practice time you can utilize, and use it in the proper way. So my thing about practice, and this is what I'm learning from the St. Johns River, Lake Eufaula,
Continue on Florida 29 North for 3/4 of a mile.
St. John's was a BFL Super. That was a 2-day. I practiced 3 days for that. BFL Regional, practiced 1 day for that, because that was just I was handcuffed with work. That was all the time I could get off, and it pretty much worked out. I think if I would have had literally another day to practice, my day one would not have worked out the way my day one would have, because I would have gathered more information. I would have actually had like probably a legit game plan going into day one of like, I need to hit these areas, these areas, these areas.
Turn right onto US Highway 27
I know I've only
south.
put out 1/2 day of practice on my YouTube so far, and I am working on the other half. I'm gonna get that out to you guys real soon. But I really didn't have a game plan. I had like a couple of spots. I had like one creek I could probably go into and get like maybe a bite or two, or maybe
Turn
3
right
if I'm
onto US
lucky.
Highway 27 south.
But it wasn't like anything great. So, I mean, I'm not trying to spoil the videos, but day one, 9 o'clock, 9:30, I just went fishing. And literally, I made, I'll mention it in the video. I'll go into detail on that. I heard a couple of things from Nick that he heard from other people that were doing good in practice, and I kind of used that as, and I made a decision on the basis of that. Like, I wasn't trying to go find someone's fish or anything like that, but
continue on US Highway
there was information out there
14 miles.
that made me make a decision as to where my next spot would be. And I'll be honest, how, like, the fish that I found were not there for the reason that I thought I would find them, if that makes any sense. Like, I went, because I'm not trying to give up the whole video, I'm trying to be honest with you guys. I want the video, when I release the video, I want you guys to be watching it and learning it. So I'm not trying to spoil it all, so you guys are like, oh, I'm not gonna watch the video, straight up. But get in the right lane here, we talking. But yeah, in the tournament, I'm like, I want to go here to look for this, and I ended up finding something very similar, and the fish were using it, but what I exactly thought out at that moment in time was not what happened. But it obviously worked out because we led the first day. But anyways, the one thing I will take away from that tournament, like I said, I'll get more into detail into this in my videos, is you have to know how to practice for these tournaments wisely and efficiently and with a purpose. So listen, it's no secret that live scope, forward facing sonar, active target, whatever you want to call it, has changed the game. It has changed the game and has shown us that you could pretty much fish offshore almost every single tournament. I mean, we've kind of known this for a while. I mean, there's guys who they will only fish offshore or off the bank, you know, not shallow water targets. That's very well proven. So it's kind of, that's opened my eyes a little bit. But like the St. John's River tournament, which I'll be honest, guys, I'm not posting that video. There's certain reasons behind that. But I've been asked very politely, we'll say that, actually not politely, but whatever, by two people. One guy who lives on the river, and another guy who's basically the reason why I figured out the pattern that I did. Listen, I didn't like the world on fire. I had 13 pounds a day, and a lot of my fish came off docks in that tournament. Straight up. Key fish came off docks in that tournament, we'll say that. And the main pattern that I had didn't progress the way I thought it would. I don't know if my timing was off. There's a lot of factors that went into what I was doing, and I just didn't land on it, on the nose of what I should have been doing. That's fine. It got me into the regional indirectly, but yes, it got me into the regional. But I had two people say, listen, please do not post the video because I just don't want people to know what you were doing, which is fine. Listen, I got plenty of stuff to post, and there comes a point in time where you have to weigh the cost benefit analysis. It's like posting 5 videos, 6 videos on the St. John's River. What's that going to gain me versus what am I going to lose next time I go there? Because if I post that video, next time I go there, I literally will not be able to do what I want to do because people have seen the video and they will go and try and do that, and there's only so much of the stuff that you can do. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, and that's why I don't post Okeechobee videos, guys. I don't post Okeechobee videos because there's some stuff if I post one video, it's done. It's done. Well, after yesterday, I don't even think it matters anymore. But I'm still not going to post. Straight up. Sorry. There's other stuff that I am going to post that is very like Eufaula. I have no problem posting that. I have no, because that was super conditional. The weather was just like you see here, super sunny, calm the whole week. I wasn't there. I get literally the second I get to Lake Eufaula, it starts raining, it's cloudy, it's windy, the whole tournament until the last day, for the last 2 hours, it becomes this sunny, calm, nothing. So what I found was very conditional, but kind of getting off on a tangent. Practice, and this is the most important thing, as I feel like as a tournament fisherman, one of the most important things you need to learn how to do is to practice properly. I mean, there's so many things that go into practice. Time of year, wind direction, you know, what's the wind gonna blow in the tournament? Forget practice. What's it gonna blow in the tournament? Because if it blows 30 out of the east, you don't want to go practice West Banks on the main lake. You're not going to be able to fish it. There are going to be 3-footers on you. So, you know, it's just simple things like that. And then there's, you know, what's the weather going to be for the tournament? If it's sunny and cloudy all week and it's going to be windy, sunny and calm, and it's going to be windy, cloudy, rainy in the tournament, you kind of have to anticipate that. And, like, in practice, if the only thing you can get bid on is a dang shaky head, listen, when it gets windy and cloudy, they're gonna get you can still catch them on that shaky head, but you can probably pick up a crankbait and catch them. They're probably gonna slide up shallower. The wind's gonna push the bait around. Like, things are gonna change. But one thing that I'm starting to realize for these tournaments, this is more outside of Florida, and the reason I say outside of Florida is because Florida, most of the time we're fishing up shallow, less than 5 foot of water, 80% of the time. Yes, you can go to the Harris Chain. Yes, you can go to certain lakes, shell bars, offshore grass lines, sometimes brush piles, humps, whatever, things like that, road beds, offshore. And listen, regardless of the weather, the fish are they're still going to be out there. They're just going to relate to it different. But what I'm starting to realize, fishing out of, I'll just say out of state, because Florida is Florida, and it is what it is. Yes, I should go fish shallow in practice. I should go look around shallow in practice, 100%. You need to know what the lake looks like. You need to know what sets up, like what, etc. But going forward, I feel like practicing for these tournaments, I'm going to be spending a lot more time, looking offshore, idling, just looking around, because when the tournament starts, I want to have 100 brush piles. I want to have 100 shell bars that I think have fish. I don't, obviously, probably not 100, like realistically 10, 15, 20, maybe. But I want to have options. So when the tournament comes, it's windy and cloudy. Hey, you know what? Let's go look up shallow for a shallow bite. I went up in this pocket, and there's a big hydrilla bed, and there's a big bay in the back. I think they're going to spawn there. And this hydrilla is like right out front. I think they will stage there. And in practice, I might fish that for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. I'm going to look around. If I see a lot of bait, if I see a fish swimming around, if I see signs of life, and if I see signs of potential, I'm going to remember that for the tournament. Be like, okay, if everything sets up the way I think it should set up for this area, we're going to go in there. We're just going to go fishing. You know, maybe I had one bite flipping in there in practice, and one bite on a topwater, or one bite on a chatterbait. Sorry, small interjection. GoPro overheated in my truck that's climate controlled to frickin' 72 degrees. I don't know how it happened either. GoPro's freaking hot, but we got to restart it. We got some AC blowing on it. We got the battery port open. Technology, gotta love it. Actually, I actually know where I'm going from here, so we're gonna turn off the navigation so we don't get any more interruptions. So, in practice, what you need to be doing is, first you need to know what time of year it is. You need to know, so you're not exactly looking for what the fish are doing. It's kind of like the stage of where the fish are at, which I guess is what they're doing, but you need to anticipate where they're going to be, where they're going, how everything's setting up. Because listen, the worst thing you can do in practice is land there. All right, I got a tournament Saturday and Sunday. You land there on Wednesday. You get there on Thursday, and you're like, I think this should be up here in Biggun Bay, right? You like that, don't you? Biggun Bay. You roll. That's Tyler's deal too. I'm gonna give Tyler credit. That's Tyler's deal. Biggun Bay, baby. You roll up into Biggun Bay. It's a little cloudy, about a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind, low pressure. You're like, they're in Biggun Bay. They're gonna spawn right here, and this is a good staging area. I'm gonna go throw a frog. You pull up, 5th cast. You get a 5-pounder to gobble down your gambler frog. You're like, I'm on them. You go down the bank, throw some 5-pounder. You're like, I got this thing. If they're here on Saturday, I'm gonna crack a 20 bagger. You think they're gonna be there on Saturday? Probably not. Listen, I've been doing this for so damn long, and Gerald Swindle said something about this, and I couldn't agree more. If you got a starting spot on day 1 of the tournament, if you're like, this is it, I'm gonna start here, and in 15 minutes, I'm gonna have 15 pounds. That was me last year at the Toyota Championship on day 1. I'm going to catch my, what I call every tournament you have what I call a baseline bag. If I hit this number on this day, I will be okay. I will be satisfied. I will be above check range. I will be in 15th, 20th place. I will be like, I'm in, I don't even know what you call it. Like, I'll be in above mediocre land, right? I'm okay. I've survived day 1. And then you have the top 5 benchmark. Like, okay, 20 pounds is gonna be really good in this tournament. If I get my way to 20 pounds, I'm like really good. And then you have Magic Land line, 25 pounds. 25 pounds will be leading the tournament. Hands down, bar none, no matter what. And if someone beats me, they had a magical day too. But there won't be more than one guy ahead of me. You know, you have your lakes, you know how they fish, you have your baselines of weight. It is what it is. I'm gonna roll up, I'm gonna catch me 15 pounds, I'm gonna be at my baseline weight, and I'm gonna have all day to go look for big ones. How many times does that really work out for you? Never. Okay, maybe once a year, right? Like, or maybe you got this one spot just dialed in and you're on point. And it does work out for you. But very rarely does that ever happen. So, yeah, when I roll up to my first spot of the morning, I have no expectations. That's what you have to do in tournaments. And this all goes back to a mental deal. If you have an expectation, and I see this so many times, and I can look back at so many tournaments where I have zero expectation, or I'm like, you know what? I think this could be a good area. I think this could work out. If not, we're just going fishing. God, are those tournaments the best ones? First what I consider big tournament I ever won. ABA, February, South End. I had no expectations. I knew the area had potential. I run down there and it was game on as soon as I got there. 6-pounder, lose a big one, 6-pounder. It was one of the best days of fishing I've ever had. I show up next weekend for the BFL. I'm like, I know they're here. I know what to do. That I had 20 pounds. Think, hey, that's great. No, I didn't cash a check that day with 20 pounds. Freaking Kale won with like 32. And 20 pounds, like 21 was a cut range, or was it a check line? I didn't get it. I didn't make money. So, like, okay, next weekend, Bass Busters. All right. I think this spot's kind of depleting. It's not as good as it was. It is what it is. Let's just roll up there and see how it is. 36 pounds. 36 pounds. Because I had no expectation. I said, I know this has potential. I know this could be great. But I know I could catch 10 pounds. And when you have that in your head, you're like, all right, let's just go fishing. Let's fish over here. Let's try this out. I'm gonna try a couple of baits. Let's go over here. Let's sample this. Like, you're in exploration mode. You're trying to figure out what's going on. And that is why you catch them. Fast forward, my second win, ABA, 2-day tournament. Good practice. I had some bites here, I had some bites here. I'm like, all right, I feel good about this. I would roll up some areas with the expectation that I could get a couple of good bites. And a lot of my bigger bites, I didn't expect to catch them where I got them. I knew I got bites in an area, but I didn't know that's where my big bites would come from. Day two of the tournament. What do I have? Expectations. I show up and I'm picking this area apart. Oh, I'm like, man, I had 5 bites here yesterday. This is the deal. Nope. Jump. And I ended up getting my bigger bites where I didn't expect to get them. I ended up winning the tournament because I made some later day adjustments. I ended up going to a brand new area that I hadn't fished since practice that I didn't think was that great. It was pretty good. Caught a 4.5 and 2.5. That tournament, that was good. Third tournament that I won with ABA. I was fishing on the north end. Had a little secret, I wasn't a secret by then, but I had a little bluegill bed. And I had a shad spawn. I show up, having caught a 6.5 pounder on that shad spawn the weekend before. I'm like, this is a good area. And in practice, I caught a 4.5 here, flipping a jig. The weekend before, like, I know this zone right here has good ones. Am I gonna catch 30 pounds here? Probably not. Am I gonna catch 20? Probably not. Could I get one big bite here? Maybe. Let's just go fishing. Throw my swim jig around. 4.5 pounder. There it is. That's my bonus fish. All right, I'm just gonna fish this out. It's a shad spawn. I'm gonna try and catch as many as I can catch, and then we're going head hunt. What happens? Catch a 6.5 pounder. And actually, after that, lose another big one. I really didn't lose it, just didn't commit to the bait. But I didn't have high expectations. I just kind of, whenever you kind of lose your expectations and just go fishing, that's when good things happen. Eufaula Regional. I had no expectations going into the first day. I had a spot or 2 or 3 that I thought I could hopefully get some bites out of. And once I did not get bites out of those areas, there was almost a sense of relief after that. It's like, okay, I'm throwing, because my best stuff in practice didn't produce. Throwing out the window and I'm going fishing. And it worked out. Ended up fishing with an open mind, fishing everything in front of me, getting the bites I needed to put me on the pattern for that day, and I ran with it. I ended up leading the first day of the regional. St. John's. I had 3 days of practice, and the first day at around noon, I got the bite that I thought I needed to get, and I started running it, and it kept materializing that first day of practice. I'm like, okay, boom, boom. But like everywhere I thought I needed to be, and I didn't hook any of these fish. I had all the hooks pulled off my bait. Fast forward to day 2 of practice. I go try some kind of off the wall stuff, some stuff that probably not gonna work. I don't get bit there, I don't panic. I'm like, all right, I really didn't expect to get bit here. I run back towards the river where I thought I could get bit, started getting bites. 3rd day of practice, I expanded on that, started working my way around, got some more bites. I'm like, okay, I know I can get bit here, 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 and here. I just honked the horn. Day one of the tournament. My best stuff. I start on the juice. 0 Bites TV. I go back there one more time that day. 0 Bites TV. I go to my secondary stuff. I do catch a good one there. All right, this is a good spot. Day 2 of the tournament, I go back to that good spot. Actually, I did have a good big bite that missed me there. But that was like a really good spot for what I was doing. And it was a good spot. So they were there every time I went there. But except when I went back to them, they weren't there. Anyways, excuse me, I had a big lunch of Cracker Barrels. I am processing it at the current moment. What I'm trying to say in all those examples. Oh, now I'm gonna give you two more examples. Last week in BASSBUSTERS, I'm sitting there at home and I stayed around the house on Saturday, did a bunch of stuff. Now look at the results. 17 pounds won BASSBUSTERS. Whoo, boy, I'm gonna make me some money on Sunday. I rigged all my tackle. 4 o'clock in the morning, leave my house with the expectation that when I get back, I'm gonna have a first place trophy and a check. 8.5 pounds. Smoked them. Actually, that was 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry. Smoked them. 8.5 pounds. So we get a full moon, we get some heavy winds, I'm like, okay, this is kind of setting up in my favor here. So when I showed up to the ramp yesterday with Nick, I was literally telling Nick, today's our day. This is the day that we're gonna win Rolands. I already told you how that worked out. 7.5 pounds. Let's do it. 7.5 pounds, baby. 7.5 pounds on Lake Okeechobee. Buddy's calling me. All right. Yeah, 7.5 pounds. Woo-wee! On Lake Okeechobee. Junk. So, what happened? Expectations. And the problem when you have expectations is when you finally get that bite that you're expecting, what do? You double down. And you get another bite, you double down even more. You get another bite, you double down. I don't even care how big the bite is. You're like, I'm getting bites. This is the way to win. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's what you think is what you're supposed to be doing. But what you think doesn't matter. It's what the fish want to do. What the fish want to do and what you think are two different things. They're both irrelevant. That's what we all as fishermen need to understand. And we all know this. That's the problem. We all know this, but then it's our ego. It gets in the way. We're like, it's so easy to explain. And we all know this, but it's so hard to utilize. Like, you know them guys like, listen, I'm gonna go throw a frog all day. And if I get 5 bites, I'll win. Okay, what if you don't get those 5 bites? I get it. You're swinging for the fences because you're a big man. You got a big ego. You're like, I'm gonna throw a frog all day. If I get 5 bites, I'm gonna have 40 pounds. How's that work out for you? And then you get back to the ramp and the guy's like, man, I was just fishing along and I just picked up my white chatterbait. And I said, that looks good. I threw a chatterbait over there. Oh, there's 4-pounder. So I just kept fishing around there, plucked one off, and it wasn't any good anymore. So I ran over here and I picked up a speed worm. I just burned a worm. Come on now. Threw my burning worm out there, started reeling it around in this hydrilla. Oh, there was 4-pounder again. I'm like, this is a pretty good spot. Let's keep fishing. There's another 4-pounder. And he wins. Because Happy-Go-Lucky didn't care. Happy-Go-Lucky don't have any ego. Happy-Go-Lucky is looking for the next bite, which is exactly what you should be doing. That's what I should be doing. That's what we all should be doing. Fishing, man. That's why we keep coming back. That's why yesterday I caught 7.5 pounds. Where am I? Harney Pond boat ramp. To go back out there for 3 hours. Torture myself again a little bit more? Probably. Spear a couple of waves, get a lot full of water? Probably. Yeah. You gotta know how to practice, guys. You gotta know how to fish tournaments. You're like, oh yeah, just show up, you know, go catch the 5 biggest fish you can, and it is what it is. No. No. Actually, yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do. But we forget about that. And we try and do other things. We try and, this is the kind of day that they should be biting this. Oh my God. How many freaking times have I got on an amazing punching bite when it's windy, cloudy, frontal, not post, frontal. The front is blowing through. I'm in full gear, rain gear. I'm punching mats and I'm getting bit. So I almost won a BFL on Lake Toho. Passing front, 25-mile-an-hour winds. At 17.5 pounds. Rosnoe had 17 pounds and like 10 ounces. He beat me like 3 ounces. Guess what he was doing? Punching. It's about the only rod he owns. Right, Rosnoe? I seen Rosnoe in the morning of a Harris chain tournament. I swear to God, he had 2 rods on deck. One was a flipping rod, and one was a chatterbait rod. I'm like, spreading yourself a little thin there, aren't you? I forgot his name. Robbie. And he's like, yeah, you're actually right, because I don't even think I'm going to get a bite on that chatterbait today. I just got it out in case I see something I want to throw to. Like, but that's a man with a plan, you know? Like, that's all he does in practice, is he practices that punch and bite. See, I'm so contradicting myself. But you know, there is, you are allowed to have strengths. You are allowed to focus on your strengths if everything lines up for it. Like, if you know, this is fishing though. This is so hard to explain because I'm like contradicting myself as I'm speaking. That guy can go out and practice for 3 days punching and figure out the punching bite enough to know that he knows where to be and what moves he needs to make. But Rosnoe's the kind of guy that can keep an open mind and go, okay, I need to pull the trigger and I need to leave and I need to go over here. It's so hard to explain. God, it's so hard. Because we all know there's every couple of years you get these 1-rod toddz. I don't know if y'all remember a guy named Ron Yentz. I mean, it's only been a couple years that he hasn't fished the lake, but he used to come out here, Harney Pond, fine hydrilla, throw a chatterbait, and he would whoop all our asses. Robbie Rosnoe, he'd go look for mats, whoop all our asses. There were certain guys that would look for certain things and whoop all our asses. And listen, if you guys are watching, I am not throwing any kind of shade at all, because they still have great tournaments, they still have great years, but those years of running away, like having 6 or 7 great tournaments a year doing that, you don't see that anymore. Granted, Robbie doesn't fish as much as he used to, I don't feel like. I mean, I still see him around and stuff, but it's just, the key to being in this deal for a long time is you have to be willing to move with the punches, roll with the punches, and be very versatile. You can be a 1-rod todd and you will shine. When it is your time, you will shine and you will win. That is the thing. Those guys that lock that one technique in their hand, when the stars align, they win the tournament. But the guys that are versatile, they look at everything as a whole. Those are the guys that keep coming back over and over and over and over, and then all of a sudden they win one. The angler of the year, they win another one. But they're not going to win 5 tournaments a year. It's going to be 1 here, 1 there. But guess what? In between that, what do they have? Checks. Win. Check, 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 miss, check, 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 win. Versus some guys that will double down on something and it'll be like, win. And I'm not saying anyone in particular. I'm not speaking about Robbie or anyone, because his finishes don't reflect this. But there'll be one rod toddz that'll be like, win, top 10, bomb, 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 win, bomb, bomb, 50th, top 10, bomb. It's like they're all over the place because they're trying to do one certain thing. So it's fishing, man. But basically, what I'm gonna wrap this video up because I gotta get some tackle out and get ready to go on the boat here. But what I'm trying to get at is, for me, moving forward in tournaments, practice, it's going to be a lot of looking shallow. Put the trolling motor in the water, put it on 100, pick up a rod, fish, but burn up the bank. Look at what the lake has to offer. Yes, listen, you can go to Google Earth, you can do all that, but man, there's just, and you can look at a Google Earth of the same lake every day for 2 weeks in a row, every single day, 3 times a day. And by the time you get there, you're like, you know the names of the creeks, you know where there's a roadbed, you know what you're looking for. But until you get out there, put your boat in the water and look at it with your own eyes, because things change day by day, just everything changes so much. Until you can look at the water for yourself and then look at the watercolor, the bait, presence of bait, just everything, until you can process that on your own with your boat in the water with your own eyes. That's when the real magic happens. That's when the real information gets processed. That's when everything starts to roll together. So next Toyota, guess what? Putting the boat in the water, we're doing a lot of running, we're doing a lot of trolling, we're doing a lot of looking. And then day 2 of practice, that's when we start doing a little bit of fishing. All right, I've seen this, I've seen there's a lot of brush piles in 10 foot of water that have a lot of bait on them. Let's go fishing. Let's go fish those. Because from what I've seen, that looks to be the most promising option available. I've ran around the lake a bunch, and it seems that the pockets on the south side of the lake towards the main lake just have the best looking water. I've seen the most amount of bait in that region of the lake. Let's go put the trolling motor down and let's go figure out the bite over there. That's the best way to do it. It's not like, oh, I'm here at, what lake can I use? I'm just trying to figure out a lake with a super stereotypical way to catch them there. I can't even use Lake Eufaula anymore because it's brush, ledges, and shallow cover. It's literally everything. It's like literally everything. And docks. They get on docks there. Have you ever seen MLF, BPT with Brian Thrift jacking them on dock? They live on docks there. Trust me. Just not when I was there. God, what's a lake that they frickin' do that one deal all the time? Lake Neely Henry in Alabama. You show up there and you got 14 swim jigs tied on every rod. Probably a good idea. Probably a really good idea, because 95% of tournaments get one there on a swim jig. But what's to say that there's no more other options on that lake for you to find fish? There's still rock piles, there's still brush piles, there's everything. Keep an open mind. Look at the water and just go fishing. What you're trying to set, okay, I'll finish this off right now. What you're trying to do in a tournament is set yourself up so when day 1 of the tournament starts,
say a command or say help.
No.
Speech session ended. Goodbye.
When day 1 of the tournament starts, you have an area and an idea of where you need to start to go fishing. Obviously, that applies more up shallow. Offshore is a little bit different. But you want to put yourself in the right place to where when you start fishing, you're in a high percentage area. That's pretty much it. you want to start fishing in a high percentage area. The baits, the techniques, all that, while it's very important, you want to figure that out during the tournament. I mean, can you figure stuff out in practice and get dialed in on a certain bait, certain technique, jig head size, like everything? Yeah, you can. And I'm not saying don't try to do that, but if you get dialed in on that in practice, in your first 5 stops, you have not had a bite on that, or you've caught 2 small non-keepers, it is so hard, but you need to stop. And you need to change. You need to evaluate something. Go to a bigger, put the shaky head down, pick up a jig, pick up a crankbait. Maybe the fish came off the bottom, maybe they're suspended 50 yards away. I mean, live scope helps us distinguish that nowadays, but maybe you gotta pick up a swim bait or an A-rig or a jerk bait, whatever. You got to stay, you gotta stay in tune with what the fish are doing. And it's a lot easier said than done. That's all I'm gonna say. But here at the lake, my buddy should be here in about 5 minutes. I gotta get some rods, get some tackle together, and I'm going fishing. So thanks for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and more videos coming soon.